Hello and welcome to Positive Talk. On the program today, as Zimbabwe is preparing to host ICASA, that's the International Conference on AIDS and STIs in Africa, from the 29th of November to the 4th of December, we felt it very important on the program to also tackle the issue of HIV. And here we are looking at going back to the basics, where we are talking about how do we prevent HIV, at the same time preventing unintended pregnancies. You know, on Positive Talk, our passion is mainly young people, young girls in particular. So let's go out there and hear from them. What are their key issues? What are they scared of? Is it HIV? Is it pregnancy? Is it both? We want to hear from young people.
I'm not afraid of HIV because I don't normally take ways that lead me there. And then impregnating, I'm afraid because that's responsibility. And in such harsh economic times, you don't want to impregnate someone and you're not ready for taking care of that person.
Personally, as a woman, I think I'm more afraid of HIV than I am of pregnancy because I can always look after the child. But most men would be afraid, as far as I see it, are more afraid of the pregnancy part more than they're afraid of the HIV.
Normally, takatarisa semararamiro seatiri kuita mazuva ano. Kana uri munhu kuti usati wapinda marriage unopinda kana marriage, unokurudzirwa kutorwa matest ekuti unokwanisa kuzopinda hako marriage wakuziva kana kuti state yauri fanike inini ndiri married. Ndakatorwa kumatest angu ndoziva ndiri negative, ende mudzimai wangu right now ane mwana, tese tingori negative. Saka zvinhu zvinozorwadza kuti ndoenda kunze uko ndakunotsvaga kana kuti utachiwana.
Yarinotya hangu HIV.
Inini hangu ndinotya batira HIV kutya kuita musikana naye.
Inini nombani nyaya yekutya bhozi ndakaita hazvina zvandondishandura pandiri, ndongoramba ndini zvandiri. But HIV ndinozosangana nematambudziko akawanda ekuti ndenge ndakupawo vabereki vangu dambudziko kana ndakuchinge ndakurwara.
Ndinotya HIV. HIV chirwere chisingaite chekuti to change your skin to another skin.
Ndinonyanyotya inini HIV because nhumbu kana wakuitisa munhu musikana unenge wakuzvifarira kuva nemwana panyika.
No, kune basa futi zvese zvinotyisa bhozi apa. Dzimwe dzenguva takatarisa isu sema-Christianity, kana takuenda kunze uku tinenge takukomita adultery, zvinova zvinhu zvakashata pamberi paMwari.
Condom. It's the most effective for both.
Okay.
I'm covered, I don't get HIV and I don't get pregnant. That's if at all I'm trying to have sex.
Shadell, it takes about 5 years. And with my fiance, we haven't had a child in 5 years. It seems effective. But I don't know about the after effects. Well, that was a recommendation from one medical doctor I consulted. He's actually a gynecologist. So I don't know what the after effects are.
Ndingangoti maringe nekune vamwe especially vari mutimu ratiri vari married, ndinokurudzira kuti kana vachinge vari panzvimbo dzakanaka dzokuti havana zvirwere zvavainazvo ngavangoramba vakavimbika nokutendeka, nokuti nyika yatakurarama haisisiri nyika yakanaka. Ndokurudzira zvekare kuti kana achinge munhu ari kudayirana nazvo pasina maproblems nazvo, ndona zviri zvinhu zvakanaka sezvo dziri nzira dzokudzivirira nadzo.
The advice I would give is, you know, there's more to life than increasing its speed, all right? And sex has been there for years. It's been there for decades. That's what has brought us on earth. And it's just a matter of discipline. People can come in different shapes, people can come in different sizes, but it's all the same. You know, it's just sex. So you gotta be disciplined and you just gotta stick to one partner. And that partner, I recommend that if possible, it's not a matter of trust or whatever, but it's a matter of safety. If possible, after every 3 months, 6 months, you just go for a test. That's the best thing I would advise.
I would say to the girls, if they can manage to abstain, that's good. But as we all know, most situations where girls end up having sex, most of the cases are rape cases. Hardly ever they're consensual sex unless usually with a wife or a real girlfriend or a prostitute. It's usually difficult for a woman to say yes to sex, and or if she does, it's with a partner.
Handivakurudzira hangu kuti vanyanye kuita zvebonde zvakanyanyisa stereki. Kunyangwe inini ndichisapota hangu point yekuti ndinotya hangu HIV stereki than kuti ndimitise musikana. Handivakurudzira kuti vaite zvebonde zvakanyanyisa nokuti zvinogurudzira upenyu hwavo panzira.
Kana kune vechidiki vose ndivakurudzira kuti kana pane nyaya yekuronga mhuri vanofanira kushandisa makondomu, because makondomu anoita kuti pakuronga mhuri anodzikisa futi, nekuti paunoshandisa makondomu haabatire chirwere uyezve haabatire nhumbu. Saka ndinoona ngati makondomu ari nani pane zvimwe, because mapirits anogona kushandisa mapirits asi anoafektwa nechirwere cheHIV.
Kuti kana musiri ready nenhumbu shandisai maprotector plus.
Ini ndinoti pane wezera rangu kana wakuda zvemisha kana kuti wasati wada zvemisha ndashandise maprotector, kana wada zvemisha ndaende kutestwa wese.
Well, you heard it from young people, their priorities, their choices. That's how they feel. And what can we do? But on Positive Talk, our key message is we say, Umbimbi Ndoga Kwete. Join us after the break, where we are going to hear from the service providers, from the experts. We continue with our discussion on Positive Talk, where today we are looking at preventing HIV and unintended pregnancies. There are quite a number of interventions that women can actually use so that they prevent themselves from being infected with HIV, also from falling pregnant. To discuss the issue on the program, I'm joined by Mr. Majero. Mr. Majero is the Service Delivery Coordinator from the Zimbabwe National Family Planning Council. Mr. Majero, welcome to Positive Talk.
Thank you.
When we are looking at issues of HIV vis-a-vis contraceptives, how can women ensure that they are preventing themselves from HIV and at the same time also unintended pregnancies?
There is what we call dual protection, whereby we are saying dual protection is whereby one uses a family planning method plus condoms. That means if she is using a family planning method, she is protecting herself from unintended pregnancies. When using condoms, she's preventing her from contracting STIs and HIV.
Kana takatarisa vana amai kazhinji kacho kunyanya vaya vanenge vari mudzimba, ipapo pekuti muri kuti dual protection kuconvince vana baba, vana amai vazhinji vari kutaura kuti vari kusangana nedambudziko rakanyanya ipapo. Kunyanya takatarisa even vana amai vari kutorarama neutachiona hweHIV vanosangana nedambudziko rakadaro. Imi munozozvifambisa sei panouya vanhu kwamuri vachisika maservices kuti mumeke sure kuti dual protection yamuri kutaura iyoyi ndo inobuda?
Kana vachinge vauya tinonyanya kushandisa mukana wekuti mudzimai auya nemurume wake. Kana vachinge vauya nemurume wake, ndo patinotora mukana wekuti tovataurira vese vari pamwe chete tichivadzidzisa zvekuita kuti vadzivirire HIV neunintended pregnancies.
Kana ndisina murume but ndauya, moita sei nini?
Kana musina murume mauya, tinogona kukutaurirai information yatinokupai kuti mimi muzive kuti munozvifambisa sei kuti
vanhu vari kumba zvavari kutoda vada kutonzwa kuti vanozvifambisa sei. Vari kutokuonai pachirongo vari kuti saka ndozvifambisa sei kuti ndizvidzivirire kuHIV, ndizvidzivirire zvakare kuti ndisabata pamuviri.
Kuti tizvidzivirire kuHIV tinokwanisa kushandisa pamakondomu. Pamakondomu atinawo, tine makondomu mairi. Tine ratinoti male condom, iro ragara richizivikanwa nevanhu vazhinji. Tozouyawo tine female condom rinoshandiswa rinopfekwa nevakadzi. Saka iwo makondomu iwayo anokwanisa kubatsira vanhu kuti vazvidzivirire paHIV.
Then when we are looking at the issue of unwanted pregnancies, kuvana vechidiki vamwe vari kuenda kuchikoro vamwe vanogona kunga vari kuma-tertiary institutions pane maservices here that they can seek kuti vaaccesse maservice iwayo kuti vasawanikwe vachibata pamwiri?
Tine muma-youth friendly centers atinawo muma-provinces ese. Muno muHarare tine youth friendly center iri pakona paHarare Street na 5 Avenue paZNFPC clinic. Vanogona kuenda ipapo vachibatsirwa. Asi kuvana vechikoro kazhinji tinonyanya kukurudzira kuti vasiyane nezvepabonde zvachose kusvikira vapedza zvinhu zvavo zvavanenge vakashuwira kuita muupenyu.
Ndo dambudziko rinotaurwa nevana vechikoro rekuti vakauya kumasenters ikoko ndo zvamuri kunyanya kuvataurira, but ivo vari kuti pabonde taakutoenda kudhara, chatiri kuda kuzvidzivirira kuti tisabata pamwiri. Saka kumwana wechikoro ari kukuona iye zvino anozvidzivirira sei kuti asabata pamwiri?
Ndingati chekutanga ndingati tingade kuti titione kuti tingaprevente sei kuti vana vasabate ma-STI ne-HIV. Chandinoda kutanga ndoda kuita zviri nyore kubata kuvana vechikoro. Ndinoda kutanga nema-letters e-alphabet edu 7. Makatarisa ma-letters e-alphabet edu 7 tina A kusvika pana G. Ndichangoita ndichiningina A tikureva kuti abstinence. Zvinoreva kuti munhu uyo nganosiyana nezvepabonde zvachose. Then B takuti be faithful to one uninfected partner. Handitika tozoya pa C takuti
tisati taenda kuna C mukati be faithful to one uninfected partner. Ini ndakuziva kuti partner wangu ari infected, saka ndomusiya here. Muri kutaura kuti chii?
Atikurudzire kuti musiye partner nekuti infected. Handizvo zvatinokurudzira. Asizvo ndosaka ndati makandiona ndikaramba ndichidzika muchaona kuti tichasvika pakuti tinokavha kuti partner yenyu iri infected yoyo tinozvidzivirira sei.
Handihedi kuna C.
Taenda pa C taakuti correct and consistent use of condom. Not just kungoshandisa condom but correct and consistent. Saka zvinoreva kuti kana ndine partner yangu ine HIV ndokwanisa kudziviririka pa HIV. Ndofunga ndapindura mubvunzo wamanga mambotaura.
Kuvana D ava vanhu vangade kunzwa kuti muzosvika kuna G mataura 7 ka?
Ndataura 7 ka. Ndakunda kuna D. Takuti kuvana vechikoro takuti delay sexual debate. Nonokai kuita zvepabonde muve munokwanisa kuita zvechikoro monangana nezvikoro nguva ichakwana yekuita zvepabonde. Then tinozoya pana E, early treatment of STIs. Kana uchinge munhu aita musikanzwa, noti vanhu vakawanda vanoita musikanzwa. Kana uchinge waita musikanzwa wabatwa nema-STI, tinokurudzira kuti munhu akurumidze kurapwa ma-STI, noti ma-STI anopa mukana wakawanda wekuti munhu akubatire HIV. Tozoya F ndo yatinoti free and friendly talk yekutiwo vana variseso vakati vanenge vari ma-peers. Saka ma-peers tichitaura vanhu vanoshare same background. Saka vanokwanisa kutaurirana pamazera avo kana mumwe akurasika kuti waone kuti waakurasika. Tozoya pana G yekupedzisira ndeyatoti get tested. Munhu unofanira kuziva kuti status yako yakamira zvakadini.
Aiwa, tanyatsokuzvinzwisisa ini ndofunga vana vechidiki vazvinzwa. Ndoenda panyaya yekuti early treatment of STIs. Vechidiki vasikana vakomana angaziva sei kuti panapa ndane STI?
Vanokwanisa kusvika pama-youth centers edu ari mumaprovinces edu pakutine yatinoti adolescent sexual reproductive health program. Ikoko vanenge vachidzidziswa zvakawanda, matopics akawanda anokavha ma-STI zvokuti vanoenda ikoko vanodzidziswa noziva kuti munhu ane STI kana kuti haana STI.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majero, for being with us on the program. Welcome back as we continue with our discussion on Positive Talk, discussing HIV and the issue of unintended or unwanted pregnancies. And we continue with our discussion now, joined by a medical practitioner, that's Dr. Bento from the University of Zimbabwe. He is an obstetrician and gynecologist. Dr. Bento, welcome to Positive Talk. Dr. Bento, when we're talking to people just in general, they're talking about the issue of unwanted pregnancies becoming a burden to young women as well as to women in general. Then put into the equation women living with HIV. Why is that so?
Just as the word itself is saying, unwanted pregnancies mean that these are pregnancies that are not wanted. And usually it's not only by the women, but also by the community. So it puts a lot of burden on these women who have got unwanted pregnancies. For example, they're not going to book these pregnancies, or if they book, they're going to book late. And then when you've thrown in the equation of HIV and trying to prevent maternal transmission to the baby, it then just complicates the whole issues.
You've brought in quite an interesting perspective where you are talking about community not wanting a pregnancy. Why would a community not want a pregnancy?
I guess it's the manner in which the pregnancy would have come about. I think culturally we have ways in which we sort of accept a woman is supposed to get married, then they're supposed to then have a baby. Then I think in that context it's easier for a pregnancy to be accepted. But if this has come about through other means, I guess it's difficult for that pregnancy to be easily accepted. And that social support is very important to any pregnancy, you know. Yes.
From a medical perspective, how do you deal with an HIV positive person? They are pregnant, that pregnancy is unwanted, they come to you as a gyna. How do you handle that whole situation?
Okay, so aside from the medical side of it, where we're supposed to provide this woman with antiretroviral drugs so that we reduce the risk of them transmitting the infection to their unborn child, I would say the most important issues are the counseling issues, things that are to do with counseling, things that are to do with helping this woman cope, things that are to do with helping also the community to also come on board to help with managing this pregnancy. So I think those issues together with the medical issues. So I guess we can say there's that leg from the other side. With the medical, you know, there's a lot of things that will go on, but then there is a leg from the social support side of things and the counseling side of things and helping the woman cope throughout the pregnancy.
I'm 15 years old or 16 years old. I walk into your surgery. I say, Doc, I want some form of contraceptive to prevent me from falling pregnant. I've walked into your surgery. How do you handle it?
Okay, I guess you know, it's this you've just raised a very topical issue, especially in the country right now, and you know, we have not. There's no clear guidelines from our ministry as far as I'm aware, and such kind of a situation, you know, I would want parental consent before I can give such a 15-year-old a minor contraception. It will be difficult for me to just give that minor contraception and without the parents knowing. Although in other countries that has been found to actually reduce the risk, the rate of adolescent pregnancies. But I guess we have to do what is culturally acceptable, you know, to our setting, to Zimbabwe.
Are there any challenges that women face in choosing which contraceptive? In one of our episodes that we were interviewing some lady, she was saying she had, I think it's a Depo, I can't remember the name that she used, but she fell pregnant. And she was actually pregnant, and we could see that contraceptive was there, but she was pregnant. Are there challenges like that, and how do I become sure that what I've been given is going to be effective?
Okay, so for every contraceptive method, there is a failure rate. And there are different failure rates for different methods. And I guess the most important thing before you choose a contraception is to visit with your healthcare provider, sit down with them, and then you have these discussions where you're talking about the best kind of contraception for you. If you have got medical conditions, there's a type of contraceptive methods that you're not supposed to use. If you have not fallen pregnant, there's types of contraceptive methods that we don't recommend, because
like what?
It will then
I'm
delay.
Sure people who are actually watching.
For example, Depo-Provera, we do not recommend Depo-Provera for those who have not had a baby before, because when after discontinuing it, you may have a long period before you actually fall pregnant, and we see a lot of anxious women who come after that. But what we must know is for every contraceptive method, there is a failure rate. And coming to, to answer the specific question that what women, the challenges that they face in choosing a contraceptive method, I would say is the medically irresponsible and inaccurate information out there, where women tell each other, wherever in the streets, about the dangers of this contraceptive method. And some of this information is not accurate, and it actually cause women not to use certain contraceptive methods that may be proper and right for them.
We are talking about preventing HIV. My partner might be HIV positive. I'm HIV negative as a woman, but we want to have a baby. After, what's the process that you take us through? And then the contraceptive that I have to use, because I know normally we talk about condom use because that's the most effective. But maybe would you give me like another form of contraceptive and not recommend condoms?
So what you're asking about is a discordant couple in which the husband is the one who's positive.
Yes.
And if you come and you want to have a baby, there are actually methods that are out there that are safe, in which that they will protect you from getting HIV, and they will also protect your unborn baby from getting HIV. Still, as a method of contraception, a barrier method is the best if you are to also protect sexually transmitted infections, HIV included, because none of the other hormonal ones will protect you from HIV. They will protect the pregnancy, but they will not protect you from HIV. So I guess it's something where we actually want to consult the couple as a couple. We don't want just to see you. It may not quite get, we may not get the desired benefits. So if you come as a couple, we counsel you, we set a target, what we want to do, and then we set goals on how we're going to achieve those targets. There are methods in which we can take you through as a couple until you are pregnant, and then caring for you even afterwards.
Yes. Your message to Zimbabweans in terms of key issues that they need to adhere to or to stick to when we are looking at preventing HIV, preventing unintended pregnancies?
Okay, so we usually talk about the 4 prongs in preventing HIV, and also preventing its passage to unwanted babies. So it starts with abstinence. It starts with choosing the right time that you are supposed to start initiating in sex, and then when you have started, if you are not yet ready to get pregnant, choose a right contraceptive method that is okay for you, and ideally also a barrier method to prevent sexually transmitted infections and HIV. And then for those ones who have fallen pregnant, to book the pregnancy early so that we can test for HIV. In case you HIV infected, we have ways in which we can prevent the baby from getting HIV infected, and also just caring for the pregnancy throughout. And it doesn't end with the pregnancy, and also after you have delivered, we still have to keep on caring for you and making sure that if you have HIV, you are being treated.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pointer, for being with us on the program. Well, you heard it, Zimbabwe. We can prevent HIV. At the same time, we can prevent unintended pregnancies. What's more important is for us to visit our health services and seek correct advice from our medical practitioners. Until we meet again next week, goodbye.